The Silver Knight wields a lance and benefits from high speed and the Dominion Ray ability, which inflicts extra damage and an illusion effect upon its target. The Bow Knight is a ranged opponent that can fire at targets up to 3 squares away. He is an otherwise unremarkable enemy. The Giant Armor is a slow-moving mace wielder with the Star Bomb ability, which can paralyze its targets. On rare occasions, he may also use the Regret Hit, which reduces the target to 1 HP. Wilmer is a disappointingly easy opponent in comparison to the last 2 bosses, suffering from low defense and subpar hit points. He can inflict heavy damage with his Thunder Shock and Afterburner abilities, assuming he gets the chance to use them. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Play Shining Force 3. This is Battle 25, and our daring duo is facing off against all of these guys. Now, if you have a look around, it's a relatively open battlefield, most of the cover and choke points being found in the center there, and we are surrounded on both sides by some brand new creatures there, the Giant Armor and the Silver Knight, and an upgraded Aspia Mage to the left as well, which is rather unpleasant. Now, the game recommends that you head straight to the center and cower there for however many turns it takes for the rest of your force to arrive. However, that would of course be cowardly, and we won't be doing that at all. We're going to charge straight in and see if we can take out the first 2 groups with just our Dantes and Kites. Now, that spark is not especially dangerous, as you can see, but it's very unpleasant if it's dropped on a large group. Dantes has pretty good elemental resistance, but other members of our force not so much, so we need to watch out for that. Now, these Giant Armor are the biggest threat to Dantes. However, as we're well aware, the AI has a tendency to head for Kite instead of Dantes. So, Kite, on the other hand, is not remotely susceptible to the mace attacks, being a sword wielder. So Dantes can stay out of the line of fire for the time being, and we should be able to eliminate these guys in short order. The risk of doing this, of course, is to see a Giant Armor do what's called the Regret Hit. It's quite rare, but if it does happen, and it's the first of the 2, then a follow-up from the second Giant Armor can mean an instant loss. Again, the chances of that happening, though, are astronomically high. Or low, should I say. Now, what this is a great place to get experience. So obviously, all of these creatures being new, they generate a massive amount of XP. So we can expect to grab several levels here for Kite and Dantes before our main force arrives. Now, I'd like to tell you that this is a hard battle, but it really isn't. Even the Giant Armor dealing reasonable amount of damage there to the sword-wielding Kite, who has, of course, the highest defense. Still, the AI comes in dribs and drabs. Even as we move towards the end there, a quick, decisive strike is not remotely difficult, and Wilmer, the pathetic end boss of this battle, just seems to stand around and let his soldiers get killed. Not the best general, by any stretch. And which one will die? Let's choose. And there's level 3 special, totally unnecessary. Kite asserting his authority. One remaining Giant Armor going in for Kite there. Still no special attack and a counter. And down he goes. Giant Armor possibly wishing he hadn't gone out of bed this morning. Now that I don't get, because that Giant Armor could have very easily attacked Dantes. I don't know why. The AI on this map is very odd, I must say. The Silver Knight over there has movement range of 7, and yet the Giant Armor with their movement range of 4, I believe, charged straight in across the map, whereas the Silver Knight dilly-dallied in the corner. I have no idea why that would be. Some kind of bizarre scripting issue, I would think. I'm thankful that the AI does tend to improve over the next couple of scenarios, and you don't generally get those kind of situations. Funnily enough, this is considered to be the middle ground as regards to difficulty of the 3 scenarios. The next one is regarded by many to be the easiest, however I would actually disagree. Many of the mild improvements to the AI do make it slightly harder. Now, some people may not be aware that this game does actually have a hard difficulty setting, as do all of the Shining Force games. Unfortunately, like many of the other Shining Force games, it's unlockable, i.e. you have to beat the game in order to get it. Now, as much as I would have liked to start another game on hard mode, unfortunately the battery backed up memory of my Saturn lost my last file, so I wasn't able to do that. So I do apologize for the devastation that we are wreaking on the enemies here. And there's another level 3. Yeah, you ain't getting up from that one. Right, that's everything except for the Silver Knight, so we might as well go over there and clear him out. Silver Knight's actually more dangerous than the Giant Armor just in general. They do more damage, they are faster moving, and they have a very commonly used special attack called Dominion Ray, which we get to see right now. Quite an unpleasant hit there, and it's the illusion that can cause some real problems.
Prepare to die.
Yeah, he's toast. Well, maybe not. Close enough, though. Right, now after we've cleared this Silver Knight out, we will, of course, head to the center. And I'm going to be skipping several turns, as you might imagine, as our force will not arrive for a little while. And, hey, there's a soulmate status. That's the first one we've actually seen, ever, in this particular Let's Play. Soulmates is the best possible friendship status you can get. It provides a superior stat bonus, as well as a 2-square range. It's the only one of the 4 friendship levels that does that. Unfortunately, in the case of Kite and Dantes, it also provides a rather embarrassing icon. You'll see that in a minute. Seriously, it's the stuff fanfics are made of. It's horrendous. There's the Bow Knights, about as useful as Justin, i.e. not very. I mean, that's an unfair assessment, to be honest. They do hit very, very hard. You've always got to keep bearing in mind that Kite, if you build him right and give him the right equipment, will always have the highest defense of your force. That's kind of the point. If he dies, it's game over anyway. So as you saw there, quite a nasty strike on Pen. They don't have any special abilities. If they could crit or do something like that, then they'd be a more worthy opponent. Now, you may have noticed that I brought Ratchet and Frank along for the ride. And the reason for that is that certain people asked me to bring the B team. So I equipped Frank with the Pokeclaw, which is the one that you make from dark matter, the cursed weapon. I also then gave him the Black Ring, which is another cursed item, just to test more than anything whether or not curses actually stacked. I don't believe they do. Now there's that embarrassing icon there. It's a nice little red heart. Yes, bromance. Youch. That's the level 4 friendship bonus there. Massive attack boost. Absolutely lethal. It turns Dantes and Kite into killing machines. Kite gains a big bonus against critical attacks, so the chances of that happening against Kite now when close to Dantes very, very low indeed. And of course Dantes in return gets a massive attack bonus. Now back to the subject of the B team. Because they don't have good friendship bonuses, and of course they're lagging behind and are easily killed, bringing them out in this battle, and indeed in any battle, just doesn't work out so well. And we brought Horst along, but the thing is, Horst is like one level behind most of our main characters, so he can perform just fine. And he's a pretty good character to begin with, but people like Frank, and indeed Ratchet, and of course Justin, not a chance. Funnily enough, I did bring Justin along here, but you may have noticed Masami popped up. Now, Masami, of course, was not in our force. Masami is literally forced into your force, and you lose the lowest level character on the army list, if I remember correctly, so that would have been Justin. And there's that spark that I was telling you about, doing quite a bit of damage to multiple allies. Not too bad, but potentially lethal. Now here's Marisa. Marisa is just not a great character, I'll be honest. Of the two ninjas, I absolutely prefer Hagan. Hagan's just got much better growth potential. And Marisa, they're not even wielding a magical weapon, so doing comparable damage, probably less indeed than Frank. Hayward showing the Bone Knight how it's done. I will perhaps take Frank to the next battle as well. I just want to see whether or not we can make Frank viable with the combination of 2 cursed items for extra attack. But he's very much dead now. That's why you don't bring B-team characters. They're targeted. They're anything that's much lower level than the allies surrounding it, unless it's a healer or kite, is most likely going to get targeted. And taken down in short order, I might add. Now, this is a good opportunity to use the Aura spell. We can get it right. Yes, I'm getting picky. So sue me. Yeah, we're not really in the best position to use Aura level 1, so I think we can just use a standard healing spell for the time being. I just don't want anyone to be picked off by that Silver Knight. The Dominion Ray on one of our casters could be potentially deadly, particularly after a Spark Strike. And then group them together for an Aura next turn. Alright, here's Horst. He's not lagging all that far behind. And of course, against lance-wielding opponents, he has no problem at all. Still got it. We'll actually get him a brand new weapon after this fight. If you noticed in the corner, as I showed you in the little introduction there, just off to the right, there is a door blocked off by barrels. Destroying those barrels will give us access to a couple of very nice items, including the Macho Maul. Yes, the Macho Maul. Literal Japanese translation being the masculine mace. And that gives the best possible attack bonus as well as an insta-kill attack called Press Bomb. Very nice. As I recall correctly, it's also got the best lance in this particular scenario in the form of the Ultra Lance, which we'll be replacing Dante's Dragon Lance with. It only does one more, but like the Zero Wing, you'll notice there's a couple of these ultimate scenario weapons that only do one or so more attack than the one that they have, but they give an insta-kill ability or something equally unpleasant. That's what the Macho Maul does, that's what the Zero Wing does, and I don't believe the Ultra Lance does, but the attack is nasty. It also looks cool as well, because as opposed to Dragon's Breath, it is another form of charge. Now, you notice I haven't really been commentating much over this match, because there really isn't much to say. Even Irene, very capable of absolutely annihilating these particular foes. I'm looking forward to the next battle. The next battle is not massively difficult. It's more difficult than this, but it's one of the few battles in this particular scenario that's laid out like an actual battle, and the soldiers tend to pretend, well, let's say pretend, they tend to act like they're in an actual battle. It's very good, and most of the people that play Shining Force remember Battle 26 as one of the best ones in the scenario, and indeed in the series. Now, I don't want to get too close to Wilmer, that's the only reason I'm backing off there. The combination of Wilmer and the Mage could actually be a killer. If the Mage were to turn around and blast Kite, and then Wilmer came in and did a special move, that could be potential death. Unfortunately, like so many bosses in this particular game, they tend to just hang around and wait for you to come to them.
Now bear my Arctic Blast.
Well, I'll make use of the level 3 freeze that we acquired recently. It's a big hitter, and the range is one of its particular advantages. It's got the same range as Spark 2. Although its AoE is not quite as good, and yes, we can expect it to be blasted once more by the Spark. Shouldn't be a problem. I don't think that would even kill Masami. Close, but no cigar. He sparked his last spark. I'll hopefully get a chance to see a special here. There we go. Masami, as I recall, starts with all 3 specials since you get him so late in the game. The specials are nice. There is one that looks absolutely fantastic. Indeed, I actually prefer it to Air Dance, which is one of the more cooler looking specials. Goes by the name of a Zuna Drop. After this fight, I'll be throwing Masami on the B team, as he should be, and replacing him with a Garn, who is behind in levels, but I did make him a special weapon before this, as well as give him one of our 2 Artemis pins. Or was it Apollo? I can never remember. There's done one of those illusion attacks there, not pleasant. Right, now would be the ideal time to use this aura. One way or the other, we're only going to be able to heal 2 people, so... And I'd actually like to heal Masami. For obvious reasons. Yes, I am the boss. I'm going to stand around like an idiot. As opposed to, you know, engaging. See, I like the next boss because the next boss actually has magic. Therefore, is not just simply going to stand around. It's nasty stuff as well. I won't spoil too much, but yeah, he's a little bit more formidable than Wilmer. Well, there's no point in hanging around. We need to clear those barrels out of the way. Yes, we can use Pen for this. No. Try the other one. Pen rains down fire from the sky. In barrels, they will die. They stood no chance. Well, that's the only thing that most people find use for Pen for. Blowing up barrels. That's because, of course, they are weakened amateur and don't power level him properly. Well, Mr. Wilmer, shall we begin? Wouldn't want any embarrassing deaths. Indeed, I'm not really sure I want to bring Kite into this. Not with illusion, anyway. He's not going to be able to hit anything. Well, thankfully, it's just cleared out there. Now, let me show you something. Yes, you can actually get Noon to heal with this particular item. He's not very good at it, but he can do it.
Spirits, help me.
Yes, he heals almost just a little bit more than a medical herb. Dear Lord. Right, now we don't really care if Masami dies, so... He's got no friendships with anyone, and that's the only real downfall to a character dying, other than the obvious expense. Yes, if you hadn't predicted the outcome of this, well, yes, let me just say it's short and to the point. Right, now we'll at least get to see Wilmer attack. He's got a reasonable attack, it's just... He's another one of these single-target bosses. I don't really know why they put so many of them in the game, because they're not challenging in any respect. I mean, in comparison even to Spiriel, who was a boss that we encountered much earlier in the game, not even close. Spiriel had counter, which made her incredibly dangerous, as well as the tendency to use a special attack pretty much every time. Wilmer, on the other hand, yeah. Generic and pointless. Let's just finish it, shall we? You know what's coming. At least you would do if I stood close enough. Let's try that again, shall we?
Come, when to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching Let's Play Shining Force 3 Battle 25. We will see you next time when we encounter an old friend. Thank you for watching, and good night.